All right, so I'm Ozzy from the Nerdy Base. I just want to introduce myself. I'm the editor-in-chief of the website. We're here with Rebecca Huntt. We're interviewing her in regards to her film, BEBA, which is released by Neon and also released at the Toronto Film Festival. How did that feel?
Hi, how are you, Osvaldo? Thank you so much for having me here. It felt great. It's been really incredible. Toronto was amazing. My parents came, and I love working with Neon. I love Neon. I've loved Neon for since they released some of their first films, and yeah, it's a huge honor to be working with them on this.
Yeah, Neon is awesome. We covered some of their films in the past. They released some really good stuff. So I'm glad we got to cover this. As a fellow Latino, I feel like we were inclined to have a fellow Afro Latina on the website as part of our coverage. But we'll talk about your film, Beba. What sparked the idea to make this documentary about yourself and your family?
Um, well, I had recently graduated from college. I was like about a year out of college, and there was sort of just a lot of tension in the city and in this country. And I was graduating from this like sort of wealthy utopian esque institution that I'd lived in for 4 years back into my one bedroom apartment with my family, where there was also a lot of tension.
Mm.
So I had so many questions at that time. And I think in your 20s, specifically, there's sort of this like existential puberty that's happening.
Right.
And yeah, and I had a lot of questions and I wanted to connect with people.
Yeah. I feel like we all feel that at some point. Like you said, everyone in their 20s has some sort of existential, I guess most people will call it an existential crisis, but you want to get answers, you want to feel like you belong. Do I belong here? Do I not belong there? Especially when you're born and raised in the United States and you come from a Latino background, there's always that sense of like kind of displacement and not belonging on either side. But in this film, you literally put all your cards on the table. I've seen people call it raw, genuine. You're holding nothing back for the most part. From your struggles to your parents as immigrants, the familial infighting, your personal struggles growing up in NYC, as you just mentioned, reflecting on all that now, seeing how far you've come as a first generation, and having the film released at film festivals, Tribeca, Toronto, having Neon releasing it worldwide as much as possible. Reflecting on all that now, what is it all like for you, taking it all in?
It's incredible. It's my dream coming true.
That's awesome. That's the American dream, right? So our parents
Yeah,
sacrificed it. I'm
exactly.
glad to see that you accomplished it. It's a
Yeah.
huge step, especially for Latinos and Latinas. Within this industry, trying to find their place there. Um, as you mentioned also in the film and just a little while ago, there's been a lot of talks of identity politics. And as I mentioned, the feeling of us Latinos growing up as first generation or second generation, that sense of displacement and not belonging. Um, and that's something a lot of people of color, whether it be Latinos, whether it be Asians, Blacks, they're fully embracing their lineage now, their ancestry. They're learning more about that ancestry and taking it in and living that culture again. How do you feel your film talks to our people, Afro Latinos and other people of color in regards to that subject matter that you present in the film?
Well, I think that I hope that this film feels cathartic and liberating, even if they don't like it, even if they
Right.
don't like me. That it's like, damn, like, I hope they feel like I hope the people who love it say like this person makes me feel reflected and seen and heard, and now I want to make something like this.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff I connected with too, but I'll let you continue. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
like I want to, like it's okay for me to not feel ashamed and to live in my truth. And for the people who don't like it, same thing kind of. It's like, oh, she sucks, but at
Yeah.
least, you know, I'm not as bad as her because I did it this way. It's like that's still some self acceptance. You can use me to accept yourself more. That's okay, as long as you accept yourself and can love yourself a little bit more. I don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a brave stance, whether people like you or not, just finding a way to connect to you and to some degree. And like I was trying to say, I there was a lot of things that I connected to as well. despite not going through some of the struggles you personally went through, but there were some, with the small apartments, the family not being able to provide as much as we wanted them to provide, and them, giving us the typical line, well, I did the best I can do. And then to us, that doesn't really feel like you did enough. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I really connected with a lot of things here, even though it wasn't as grand or as much of a struggle as what she went through growing up in New York City. I'm from Jersey. I'm located in Jersey. So my struggles from New York and people who live in New York are completely different, even though we're that close to each other. But
Absolutely. No, it's a different world.
yeah, definitely. But you take a big you tackle a huge task, a number of tasks when it comes to this film. You're the star, you're the writer, producing, you're directing, which is a lot to take on as a essentially as this is your second film. You had a short film. This is your second film. What were some of the biggest challenges you had to deal with while making this over the past 8 to 10 years?
Well, I made two short films, and then this is my first feature film.
Hmm.
But just to clarify, but thank
Okay,
you for that.
thank you.
I their challenges were endless. They were a lot. Some of them were like very personal and intimate, and some of them were like, "Can I do this?" Some of them were just like, "I'm exhausted and I don't have any money
Right.
and I'm hungry."
Are we all
Like,
right?
so I think there was a lot of different ways and things and distractions,
Right.
but there was something much bigger than that.
Well,
That
I'm
was
hoping I'm
something.
hoping it becomes something much bigger. I think there's a lot of important topics that you tackle here that I think,
Yeah, there was something much bigger that was guiding me. That was like,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
You're the
it's definitely seen in the film. I can see it. Especially, I watched it twice already. I watched it fully twice. I sat through it twice, so I could really take in the message, take in the struggles. You film it a certain way. Use 16 millimeter cameras and footage for it, film to film it. Very beautiful scenes, especially the clay, the adding the mud and the clay to yourself towards the end of the doc was great. But focusing more a little on your family, how did they take that whole process and then seeing this come into fruition?
Well, I was most concerned about my parents because they're a different generation.
Right.
So I was more, my responsibility lied more with them, you know?
Hmm.
Because I think with siblings, there's always like, it doesn't matter where you guys are at, there's always an understanding of just like, yo, do what you have to do. At least with my family,
Right.
my siblings.
Hmm.
We're the same generation, we're living in the same time, we get it. With my
Right.
parents, they're older, they're baby boomers. It's they're Latinos, they're
Hmm.
born in a different country, in a different era. So and so that was a little bit more complicated. And to be honest with you, I was just so proud because they of them and because they were so supportive. And there, of course, there are things in the film that they were like, man, did you really have to put that in there?
Hmm.
Their biggest feeling, they were at Toronto with me.
Yeah.
They were at every Tribeca screening. They invited all their friends, and my family came, like my extended family, my aunts, my cousins. So yeah, the biggest feeling they have is just like a deep sense of pride and unconditional love.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. It's a silver lining there. They come
Yeah,
in, they
there is because
struggle.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You can even see in the film, like I didn't know.
Right. And you can see that kind of chemistry, that little, the head butting a little bit, which comes with having Latino parents in that their generation where they're born. But yeah, moving on to the
Absolutely.
final question, since we have only a couple minutes. You are working on a new feature film, you're writing it. This will be also, I guess, your second directorial debut. What can you tell us about this upcoming project, if anything, at this point in time?
For my second, the script that I'm writing,
Yeah,
I got to keep that super close.
you got to keep that super close. So, what
Yeah.
is it another doc? Is it an actual like
No, I'm writing my first script.
you're writing your first script? And
Yeah, I'm co-writing a script and
nice.
that I'll be directing, and it's gonna be
It's gonna be great. I can tell. I can tell you. You kind of holding back a little bit. I can tell you got something special. So, listen, Rebecca, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk about BEBA here with me today. I appreciate having you on the site and on our YouTube channel. So, I hope nothing but success comes your way with this film and in your
I
upcoming
appreciate it.
projects. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
it. Awesome. You guys have a great day. Okay. Thank you.